Wonderful. Thank you so much for the confirmation. So before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself to you all first. So my name is Neeraj Kheria, and I have been into this IT domain for more than 14 years now, where I have been leading the global design and development teams for designing enterprise solutions for different industry verticals, including insurance, retail, banking, pharmaceutical, aviation, and location-based services. And mostly, I have been active in the markets of India, US, Canada, Singapore, Australia, and other Southeast Asian markets so far. And in terms of the trading front, I have been working as a corporate trainer as well since last 5 years now, where I have been training the workforce of companies including Accenture, Mercedes, EY, Capgemini, Adobe, Credit Suisse, NIT, Grab, among others, in training them on different technologies, specifically in cloud computing, on AML, and multiple front-end and back-end development technologies. So that's in a nutshell of what I have been into since last 14 years now. So as a part of today's agenda, we will be talking mostly about cloud. So here we'll be talking about what exactly cloud computing is. Then we'll be talking about different service models. We'll be talking about the deployment models and different cloud providers. And the last 30 to 40 minutes will be specifically for Q&A. So if you have any questions, any doubts, then you'll be able to ask your queries at that point of time. All right, so before we get started, so if we talk about cloud computing, so what exactly cloud computing is in simple layman terms. So if we are going to use now, if we go back almost 2 decades, at that point of time, if we had a requirement of creating any or we get deploying any web-based solution, then there were multiple vendors in the market. So at that point of time, if you want to deploy any solution, we had to take care of the setting up of the servers, deployment of the power, backup, configuration, everything had to be taken care by us. Now there are multiple vendors all around the globe, and these vendors, they have set up their entire infrastructure so that we don't have to worry about setting those up at our end. We can directly use their infrastructure. So as a part of the cloud, they have set up multiple data centers. When we say data centers, they have all the infrastructure required for deploying any application. They have servers, storage devices, networking devices, security components. And being a user, we have to directly subscribe to their services, subscribe to their cloud, and then we can deploy our application, we can store our data, and we can allow the users to access that information remotely. And we don't have to pay anything upfront. We have to pay based on the usage that we are going to have. So this is what cloud is all about. And in terms of the different type of service models, so there are different service models available in cloud. So any idea what exactly what all service models are available in cloud? Anyone? Any idea what all service models are available in cloud? Absolutely. We have, first of all, we have infrastructure as a service. We call as the IaaS platform, and then we have platform as a service that we call as a PaaS platform, and then we have software as a service that we call as SaaS-based platform. So to understand these in simple layman terms, we can again take help of our sketchboard here. So let's say if we go back almost 2 decades, at that point of time, There was a vendor in the market. Let's say that vendor gave us only the hardware. Now we were trying to buy a PC. So we went to a vendor and that vendor only gave us a personal computer. That means that vendor only gave us the hardware. That means motherboard, processor, RAM, hard disk, graphics card, internet, the network card, and so on. But we didn't get any kind of OS or drivers installed here. So when we are getting only the hardware component of anything, then that is what we refer as infrastructure as a service. If I have my own hardware, which I will rent it out to you, so that is going to be a part of infrastructure as a service. Then let's say there was another vendor in the market. Now that vendor not only gave us the entire piece of hardware, but again, that vendor also gave us the OS and the entire environment to run the app, to run the system already configured. So here we are getting the entire piece of hardware like motherboard, RAM, processor, everything. And plus we are also getting OS installed. For example, we wanted to work on Ubuntu systems, on Windows servers, on Windows Retail Editions, on Fedora, on Gentoo. So we could have got the entire environment also configured here, and then we could have started using the application. So we can see the system. So here we are getting the entire environment also available so that we can use it, and we don't have to worry about setting any kind of environment from scratch. Once we have the environment available with us, then we can use it, and then we can set up our own data and our own application on top of it to deploy to the end users. So this model is what we refer as platform as a service, as the PaaS-based platform. And then let's say there was another vendor in the market. Now that vendor not only gave us the entire piece of hardware, not only gave us the OS install, but that vendor also gave us multiple applications also bundled here. Like earlier we used to have HP Pavilion series. So here we are getting the OS, and plus let's say here we are getting multiple applications bundled. Like we are getting the entire MS Office suite. We are getting multiple streaming applications, security applications, and so on. So this is what we refer as software as a service. So all the cloud platforms that we have, AWS, GCP, so based in terms of the infrastructure, they offer the entire infrastructure service to us. That means if we want to deploy a virtual machine, then we can choose what kind of hardware we need. For example, we need to have AMD processors or we need Intel processors. Within Intel, let's say we need Core i7, Core i5, Core i9, and so on. How many number of cores we need, how much of RAM we need, how much of network bandwidth performance we need. That means we can customize each and every parameter that is related to the hardware. And we can choose to set up our own environment on top of it and then deploy it as a service. So these all things are what we refer as infrastructure as a service. Then we have platform as a service. So there are multiple services offered by these vendors. Like we have cloud compute. So here we have service like we have RDS. So RDS is what is basically a relational database service. So it is like a fully managed database service offered by AWS. So if you want, if you want to have a database instance set up, so we can deploy one of the virtual machine and then we can get connected to it. We have to set up the database engine manually. We have to set up its backup, its maintenance window. Everything has to be managed and deployed manually. So instead of doing that, we can use the RDS service offered by AWS, which is like a fully managed service for deploying any relational databases. So we can deploy it, and that will be a part of platform as a service. So we can directly connect that to the application, whatever we want to work with. And then we have software as a service. So we have applications like we have Gmail, we have cloud. So these are what is offered here. Just a moment. And then we have all the cloud-based applications like we have Gmail, we have Zoom. Now, the way we are having a meeting right now, that is over the Zoom platform. So again, we don't have to install anything. We don't have to worry about setting up our own data and anything. And these all ready-made applications, they are examples for software as a service. All right. So are we all clear on these three service models till this part? Can you all please give me a quick information, everyone? Great, thank you for confirming, everyone. So PaaS is basically platform as a service, as we had discussed. It's like a managed platform. So for example, we have RDS, which we had taken as an example. It's a fully managed database service offered by AWS. So if we have to deploy a database, what we can do is we can deploy a virtual machine, and then you have to manually install any database engine like MySQL, Postgre, MS SQL Server, and so on. Or we can go ahead and make use of this RDS service where we only have to choose what kind of database engine we want to deploy. And RDS will deploy the virtual machine containing that database engine automatically configured. Even the backup, maintenance, and the replica of it is also going to be managed automatically. So this is what we have as a part of one of the many examples for platform as a service. Are we all clear on platform as a service? Those who are having doubts, can you please confirm? Great. Thank you for confirming. And software service, all the cloud applications. For example, if you want to get directions from point A to point B, you don't have to do anything. You simply have to subscribe to Google Maps and then you can get the job done, right? So these all are endless examples for software as a service that we can work with. All right. Clear on software as a service as well? Can you always confirm? Great. Thank you for the confirmation, everyone. Now, next we have multiple deployment models available in cloud. So any idea what all are different deployment models available here? Absolutely. We have hybrid, public, and then we have private cloud. So here we have these one offered as cloud computing, deployment models. So first of all, we have public cloud, then we have a private cloud, and then we have a hybrid cloud model. So public cloud is what? Public cloud is basically when we have a cloud solutions being deployed that can be accessible to all. So for example, we are hosting a public facing web application. So that is something that can be accessed by all. So that will be an example for public cloud. Next, we have private. So when we are going to have a private solution being defined here, for example, we have the in-house application used by companies. So that is not accessible by anyone apart from. So that in-house application is not accessible by anyone outside the company. It is limited to a given environment, right? So these kind of solutions are offered as a part of private cloud. And then we have hybrid. For example, the best examples are fintech companies. For example, their storage are available in the on-premise servers and their servers are available on top of the public cloud. Because again, they don't want to keep the data on cloud because of compliances and security issues. And they want to have the accessibility to use different data centers offered by AWS without managing one on their own, right? So they will be getting the best of both the worlds together as a part of hybrid cloud solution. So these three are the three different type of cloud computing deployment models available here. So are we all clear on public, private, and hybrid cloud till this part? Can you always give me a quick information, everyone? Perfect. Thank you so much for giving me confirmation, everyone. Okay, there are certain queries, so let me see what those queries are. So we have a public cloud model, Shivani. For example, let's say you are creating a web application. So you want that web application to be accessible only for a specific set of people, or you would want it to be accessible to any user base? Which one? You would want that to be accessible to anyone, right? By anyone. So that will be a part of the public cloud. You have deployed a kind of solution where you have deployed your entire solutions on premises. For example, you have your database, you have your storage services, you have your networking components all deployed on premise. There's nothing that you have stored on any of the public cloud platforms, right? So that will be a part of the private cloud. And then we have hybrid, which is a combination of both. So you'll be getting for example, you're running a fintech solution. So for the fintech solution, you are going to have, let's say, your storage deployed in the on-premise data center, whereas you want to have the advantage of using multiple data centers all around the globe. So you cannot deploy that from your own on your own, because again, that will require a lot of time and investment. So the best way is to use the servers offered by cloud, right? So you're storing your data on premise and you're using the servers offered by cloud, right? So that will be example for the hybrid cloud solution. Clear on this part now? Great. Thank you for confirming. Any other doubts? Anyone? So here we'll be having multiple cloud vendors available. Like one of the oldest cloud vendor that we have here is AWS. So we do have more than 200 plus services offered for almost every type of requirement offered by Amazon and market for cloud computing. And then it is followed by Microsoft Azure, having a market share of around 20% on this one. And this is again ongoing at a greater speed, especially for the Asian market. And then we have GCP offered as a part of Google Cloud Platform, where we do get a market share of around 11%. And there are other platforms like we have Alibaba, DigitalOcean, Oracle Cloud, IBM, VMware. So they all are together making up around 22% of market share. So these are the most widely used platforms that we have. These are the ones that we are going to start our discussion on, moving further with the discussions. So now if you have any queries, any doubts, you can let me know. I'll be able to help you out. As I have mentioned, everyone, so this is a part of the Q&A. So if you have any questions, then please do ask the questions, so I'll be able to help you out. I have been getting confirmations from all at Nishan. So again, if I'm not audible, then there will be no confirmations, right? So if you have any questions to ask, then please do. That will be planned in the later sessions, Rohit, as this was just an overview of the sessions. All right, then, so as we are done with the topics, so we'll be wrapping up for the session today, everyone. First of all, a big thank you to you all for joining. And you can leave your questions that you want to be answered. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you.